Among your accomplishments, your extensive publishing career includes to date 9 authored or edited books and many book chapters and many journal articles. Your book, Affirming Diversity, is among your most influential works and widely used nationwide and beyond. You have received numerous awards and honors for your scholarship, advocacy, and commitment to social justice issues, including but not limited to Multicultural Educator of the Year Award from the National Association for Multicultural Education, the Annenberg Institute Senior Fellowship, Outstanding Language Arts Educator of the Year from the National Council of Teachers of Education, Social Justice and Education Award, which is AERA Fellow in 2011, Laureate of Kappa Delta Pi, honorary doctorates from Lesley, Bridgewater State, DePaul, Manhattanville, Syracuse, and Duquesne. And you were also inducted this year into the National Academy of Education. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So what's next? What else would you like to accomplish that you have not done yet?
Well, first of all, I want to say about all those honors, I am truly humbled. I mean, I can't believe it. And I always keep wondering, wow, what would Mommy and Papi say?
Sure.
You know? Amazing, amazing. And so I'm really grateful for the recognition. And you know what I hope it says, all of these awards, what I hope they say is that my work has helped to move education forward in a particular way. But even more than some of these awards, you know, when just recently a young woman came over to me after I had given a talk and she said, I've just decided to become a teacher because of listening to you today. That is so rewarding. And it means so much to me that somebody like that who was thinking very, very critically about this knows that it's so hard, but she wants to go in there and make a difference. So what's next? You know, I am writing a memoir. I have written it, and it's now in the copy edited stage. And I did that because several people, you know, had suggested that, and I thought, you know, a memoir is so me, you know, and I didn't really want to do that. But then when the editor from Harvard Ed Press got in touch with me about reviewing something for them, and then, you know, after I did it, she said, thank you, that was so helpful, and what are you working on now, by the way? And I said, well, you know, I've been thinking about writing a memoir. Well, she came the following week. She drove out to Amherst so that we could meet, and they haven't done a memoir before. So, you know, I'm very excited about it, and it obviously is very connected with public education. So it's not just about my life, it's about my, in fact, that's the subtitle, My Life in Public Education. And the title is Brooklyn Dreams, because those were my dreams when I was when I was a little girl. So that's next, and you know, I'm still writing a lot, and I'm still doing a lot of speaking, and you know, now that I'm in the National Academy, I hope to work closely with my colleagues there. There's, you know, an abundance of things to do, and the thing is that all of them excite me. You know, I'm very excited about life.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What impact has your research had of which you are most proud?
I guess I would say to, the word inspire is so overused, and it you know, makes it seem like, you know, I'm so important, and so that's not what I want to say. But that I have led maybe teachers and students to think of things differently. That's what I hope is my impact. You know, that I get people to think about education differently, that I get them to rethink their ideas. You know, because we're always changing.
Is there anything about which you've researched and about which you care deeply that you don't feel has had an impact that you expected or anticipated or desired?
Yeah, our work never has the impact that we want because hopefully it will influence some people, but many it won't. And look, the state of education for poor kids and for kids of color and for kids who are badly served by our public schools, it's still there. It's still not good. So I wish I could say magic wand and I'll just make everything better, but I can't. So I would say that in every aspect of the work that I do, it's never enough. That's why I have to keep working.
Wonderful answer. Okay, now to a set of introspective questions.
Okay.
Who do you believe has had the greatest impact on you and the person and scholar you have become?
Well, I'd have to answer that in a few ways. My husband has had an incredible impact on me, more than he knows. Because I was 22 when I met him, and he was 25, I think. And he helped me think critically, I think really critically, that I hadn't before, in a way that I hadn't before. And so that has influenced me in a lot of different ways, including in my scholarship, but in a lot of other ways as well. In terms of my scholarship itself, I'd have to say Paulo Freire. I mean, he was such an inspiration to me because he always sort of turned things on their head and asked you to think differently about things. And, he was the kind of person that when I would hear him, and I heard him many times speaking, and I was, in his presence many times, I'd say, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that before. That's what I think education should be. So, he certainly had a huge impact on me. Jim Banks certainly had a very big impact on me, and he had a real faith in me that, made me feel very appreciated. But one of the benefits of writing the memoir that I've written is that I've been able to get in touch with people who've had a big impact on my life, and I've been able to thank them.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I love that. So Bob Suzuki, for example, my professor from the first course that I walked into as a doctoral student in 1975, I got in touch with him, and I hadn't seen him in many years. And it was a wonderful coming together. We spoke on the phone. I had sent him an email, and I sent him the chapter in which I talked about him.
Oh, wonderful.
And thanked him for, the enormous faith he had in me. And he wrote back and said, oh, you're giving me too much credit. But that's Bob Suzuki. That's how he is. And now he invited me to be on a panel with him at a conference at the end of this month.
Oh, fabulous.
So, we're going to be doing that. And my principal from the bilingual school, Hernan Lafontaine, who was, one of two, the first Puerto Rican principals in New York City. And so we're still in touch over the years, but I did the same thing. I sent him a chapter that I wrote about the bilingual school, and I sent it to him and said, you really believed in me when I didn't believe that I was capable of some of the things. Like, he asked me to be the summer school director. I was 26 years old. And I said, really? He said, of course you can do it. He said, anyway, I'll be down in the office. If anything happens, you can always come and see me. And then he made me the curriculum specialist. And, all of these things were just, these people who push you and who see more in you than you see in yourself. So they have all impacted me. My sister Lydia, of course, I couldn't say enough about her. I mean, when I just recently received the Distinguished Alumni Award at UMass, and she was there, and as most of my family was. And I said, in giving thanks to people, I said, my sister Lydia, who helped me learn English, who taught me how to dress, who taught me how to put on makeup, Little things like that. And we shared everything over the years, so, and she's always been my biggest fan. She always is very proud of me, and, so she's been great. There's so many. Of course, my daughters, my
Sure.
granddaughter, who's like, I call her my third daughter now. I actually changed my resume. Instead of saying that I have 2 daughters, I say I have 3 because I've raised her since she was 2. My husband and I have raised her since she was 2. In fact, he stayed home with her to take care of her. So, these are the people who keep me going. So I would say the family is what really keeps me going. And then these other people outside have really influenced me a great deal, have influenced my work. My friend Maddie Marquez, who we've been friends for 40 years, and she always plays devil's advocate, which really makes me think, think differently and think critically. And, I always learn from her.
Okay. What inspires you?
I guess I'd have to say that teachers inspire me. Really great teachers. There's nothing like a really good teacher to inspire me, to make me feel that, wow, this is the right field for me to be in. Kids inspire me, especially kids who have to go through some of the stuff that they have to go through. And so I guess that's what I would say. Colleagues, of course, inspire me. People at AERA, but also the colleagues who I've worked with, finding a niche for myself, even in a huge organization like AERA. And I always learn something when I go.
Sure.
Learning inspires me. I said to somebody once, I think I'm a learning junkie. Because that's why I keep working, because I keep learning.
Sure.
And being inspired by everything that I learn.
What do you find uninspiring?
Oh, uninspiring. The way things are, I guess. Just leaving things static is uninspiring.
What is your favorite word?
Hope.
What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, let's see. Oh, no, I can't say that on here, can I?
You can spell it out.
It comes out automatically when I stub my toe or I say, coño.
Coño?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
You don't want to know.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you have liked to attempt?
Sometimes I imagine myself on stage belting out a song.
Oh.
And I don't even sing well. My sister could have. She has a beautiful voice. But there's something about making art that is so wonderful. The only thing that approximates it for me is my knitting.
Oh, okay.
That I'm creative in my knitting. But, I can't sing, can't dance. I do Zumba with my daughter, actually. But I wish I could do more in terms of the arts. And maybe I will.
What profession other than your own would you have not liked to attempt?
Oh, profession? I don't know. I think I could see myself in a lot of different ways. Let me see. I think if I could be a good politician, I would have been a good politician. If I could be a good lawyer, doing the right kind of work, I could have seen
Sure.
myself doing that. An entertainer. Probably my other daughter Marisa is a medical assistant, and I probably wouldn't be a good nurse.
Okay.
And she's a really good one.
What is your favorite book?
Oh my goodness. Now I have to think about that. I mean, when I was a kid, I could have told you it was Heidi or Little Women. Oh, you know what book I really loved? It was by Sue Monk Kidd. And it's about, I forget what it's called. It's about beekeeping. Oh, it's really a wonderful book.
Okay.
But I don't know, there are a lot of good books.
Sure.
So,
Clearly
yeah.
behind us.
Right, exactly.
If you could tell President Obama one thing, what would it be?
Get a new Secretary of Education.
Fair enough. If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, I've been so lucky to have dinner with people who have since died, and like Maxine Greene, and like Paulo Freire, and and others. So people who inspired me, maybe John Dewey, would be interesting to have dinner with him and pick his brain a little bit.
Okay. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Wow. Where are the others?
Finally, what advice might you offer to graduate students and beginning researchers who hope to make a contribution like you to education and educational research?
I would say have faith in yourself and also think out of the box, because the people who think out of the box are the ones who make a difference. And so don't just follow someone else's work, do your own. And think about what your values are, because we all bring our values into the work that we do, even though in the academy we're supposed to be neutral, which I think, never happens. And so I would say, think about what you want to be known for. When you finish your profession, what would you like people to say about you?
When you're sitting in this seat in 50 years from
Yes,
now.
right, exactly.
In closing, when asked to capture the essence and nature of Sonia Nieto, your daughter, Alicia, describes you as the most generous person she knows, aside also from her dad. She explains that you are generous with your resources, but also with your time. You will take anyone out for coffee or lunch who wants your advice, and you have mentored hundreds of educators. She adds that you have been generous over and over again with your family, giving of your time and energy to your children and grandchildren, and that you are kind but strong about your beliefs. You are generous and accessible to so many people in your personality and in your scholarly work. Your sister, Lydia, captures your essence starting with the word family, noting that your family has always been a key focal point in all of your endeavors and achievements. When family members are in the audience at one of your presentations, you will never fail to proudly recognize them. She notes that you are loving, caring, kind, generous, smart, actually brilliantly smart, patient, untiring, problem-solving, and beautiful, and you are a sister of whom she is very proud. Your longtime friend and colleague, Dr. James Banks, notes that in addition to being a scholar of first rank, you have a strong commitment, unique experiences, and extensive knowledge about educating students from diverse racial, ethnic, cultural, and linguistic groups. He explains that you have made and continue to make original, pivotal, and incisive theoretical and research contributions to research, policy, and practice. Your former student and longtime friend and co-author, Dr. Patty Bodie, describes you as an enduring influence on her life as an educator, in addition to becoming a lifelong, loyal, and steadfast friend. She adds that you have been her academic advisor and guiding mentor intellectually, professionally, and personally, and that becoming your co-author on Affirming Diversity has been one of the greatest honors she has experienced. Your former student and longtime friend, Dr. Colin Muniz, characterizes you as a real live rock star, noting that you sign autographs and take pictures just like somebody from Hollywood. She explains that even though you are more famous than most people, the best part is how you always greet, always hug, never shun anyone, and always try to make an effort to connect with people, help them, mentor them, and support them, especially young scholars. She describes you as an amazing woman, and as a Puerto Rican like you, she is extremely proud of you and all the contributions you have made to the field. Finally, your friend and colleague, Dr. Luis Moll, notes that he calls you La Elegante, the elegant one, because always you look like $1,000,000. But along with that elegance is a kind and wonderful person with a strong and staunch, if not fierce, commitment to educational equity for students, especially the poor. Dr. Banks overall captured the sentiment of your friends, family, and colleagues, describing you as one of the most eloquent, forceful, and influential voices that advocate social justice and educational equity for all of the nation's youth. He notes you are brilliant, compassionate, original, and that the influence of your work in the United States and in nations around the world has been and continues to be enormous and path-breaking. So on behalf of all of us, educators, scholars, future educationists, educational researchers, and the like, we thank you, Dr. Sonia Nieto, for everything you do, and most importantly, for being you.
Thank you so much. Gee, maybe I should retire now after all that. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been
Wonderful.
a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah.